Okay, welcome to another podcast of ArtEZ Conservatory, The Sound of Innovation. My name is Erik Rutjes. I'm the mentor and coordinator of this master education. Next to me is Andrew David.
He's saying Andrew
Or
David. David International. Dawood in Arabic, but okay. I'm also a mentor and also a member of the R&D, Research and Development. And next to me is...
Yeah, my name is Maurits. I'm a second year master student, Sound of Innovation. I started out as a student media music, also master student.
Here in Enschede.
Also here in Enschede, yeah. And I'm progressing towards the end of my second year. Yeah.
You may talk a little bit more into the
sure.
mic, I think. Okay, second year of the master. That means that you were in the master last year, but the Sound of Innovation has only started this year. So is it, this is a new master. So what was the master before?
Yeah.
The first year you
it was somewhat similar to what I'm doing this year, as in terms of the curriculum, how it's built up, and a few things were the same. But also the second year is a lot more structured, in my opinion. There's a lot more hours that are scheduled with teachers and that are scheduled throughout the year. So that's kind of a difference, but it's the same in a way that when I started out this master course, I set out my goals and I'm still trying to reach those goals, and those are the same for the first year as the second year.
Yeah. There's some new fixed parts in the Innovation Lab. We have a picture of that. I can show it here. In the Innovation Lab, there are fixed components. Could you tell us what are some lessons that are in there?
Yeah,
I know there's presentation skills.
Yeah,
there.
That's one of the things. Yes, presentation skills. It's a series of workshops, I would say, in which you can develop your own presentation skills, as the name already suggested.
Yeah.
And that's really helpful in situations where you have to present yourself or your work. And it can be in a situation where you're at school, but also in your professional life. It's really helpful to be more aware of your own postures, the way you're talking, all the things you're doing while presenting. And because of that class, you're learning how to use those skills.
Yeah. So it's if you have to do a pitch for a product or give a presentation, or
for instance, and that's just one thing of the fixed components. I would say the biggest thing in the second year of the master course is the complete R&D program, consisting of the product we have to develop, and connected to that our research, our individual researches.
Yeah. Could you tell more about the product?
Yeah.
What's the I?
Yeah, the I stands for innovative. And basically that can mean anything, and that's a positive thing, and it's also somewhat daunting when you start it, because in our case there weren't a lot of restrictions or guidelines.
A lot of freedom.
Yeah, we had a lot of freedom, and once I got used to that freedom, it was a big advantage for us, I guess. But what we're doing, we're trying to create an innovative product which, of course, needs some music. But in our case, it's an VR installation, virtual reality installation, for which we are developing a kind of interactive music. And this idea, it started out with the 3 students that we are in the second year. Yeah. And we were discussing what do we want to do, and it turned out we all 3 had somewhat of an interest in virtual reality. And we were just talking about that, and we came to the conclusion that whenever you are using virtual reality technology, the visual you see is always interactive. You can turn your head around. Sometimes there are buttons you can push, but there's some kind of interaction. But the music is pretty much always, or a few exceptions to that, but pretty much always a static thing. It's just a composed piece of music which is edited underneath the visual, and that's it, basically. So we thought, how cool could it be if that music would also be interactive? And the way we are doing that is, while you are using this virtual reality installation, you're not only wearing virtual reality goggles, but you also get a few sensors attached to your body. We have a sensor that attaches to your earlobe, which measures your heart rate. We also have a sensor that measures skin resistance, and we have a motion detection sensor, which measures your rotation.
Okay.
The data we get from these sensors, we can convert that to MIDI, and with this MIDI data, we can how do I say it? We can influence the music in real time that the user
music
is
responds or reacts to kind of MIDI data that it's
it's basically the data will change as you progress along the story, and you are going to feel different, you're going to experience different emotions, and we measure the data, and that will reflect in the music.
Okay, so it really sounds like it's also a very beneficial product for healthcare, or the field of healthcare.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
something that you have thought about?
Yeah,
really?
sure. Yeah, at the start of the project, or not really the start, but when we decided what we wanted to do, we were thinking of how could you actually apply this kind of thing.
Okay.
And one thing we started out with was just entertainment, because it's a lot of fun. But after that, we started discussing about maybe you can use it for some kind of music therapy. And we were talking about that with our teachers and with some experts from the field of music therapy. And we got the idea that maybe we can design with this technology some kind of virtual reality exposure therapy for people with fear of heights or acrophobia. Virtual reality is a really safe environment. You can always quit it when you don't want to experience it anymore. So that's a very good tool to experience certain situations that you wouldn't normally be able to do. And we, as I already said, we discussed this idea with people from music therapy, and they were really open for this discussion, and they gave us a lot of input. So we decided to work on that for the rest of the year, and it's coming to. We're trying to reach an end product right now, but that's basically our goal.
Hey, and if you have an average week in this school, can you some sort of short describe how an average week looks like?
Activities.
Activities.
Well, for me personally, it's the master studies I'm doing right now is a big part of my week, but I'm also doing. I have a daytime job.
Okay.
I do that for 32 hours a week.
That's possible. Combining.
It is possible,
but
although
hard work.
It's a lot of work. You have to. We just have to be honest about that, because it is not a part-time study. You have to spend basically your whole week on it. So it's only possible if you are working on flexible times and you have some freedom in that. And still, it's a lot of work, and it needs a lot of planning, but it is possible.
But you still can copy. You can still manage it.
I can still. One week is more difficult than the other, but overall, I would say yes, I can.
Okay, what kind of activities? Teamwork, individual route, for example.
We already talked about the fixed components, and I think the fixed components, I usually have a few hours of that every week. The presentation skills takes up some time. For instance, tomorrow I have a class from Lonneke from presentation skills.
It's the light lesson, I believe.
Yeah, it's a workshop about lighting.
Using light in presentation situations.
So that's a few hours of my week. Next to that, I have to do a lot of my research in the last couple of weeks.
If you talk about research, what kind of things you have to do?
Well, my research is really attached to the project I was just talking about. And in order to develop our product the way we want it, you would eventually need some kind of research. So my research is about how can we implement this tool that we are developing into the world of music therapy.
And if you're talking about meetings, you've got a lot of meetings.
Yeah, I have a lot of meetings, also connected to this research. Right now I'm doing some interviews with people from music therapy, so that takes up some time. And of course I have my individual roots, and the individual route is a whole different part of the study, and that's basically whatever you want it to be, as long as you reach your goals, as long as you put the subjects that you're following in service of the goal you eventually want to reach.
And how does that work? You make a study plan, and when do you do this?
Yeah, you write a study plan at the for the first year. It was before the start of the year. I worked on it during the summer holiday, and then once the course started, we got together, Andrew and the rest of the students. We talked about it. There was some feedback, and we had to change it, and it took some time, but after that it was all structured for me. I stated my personal learning goals in my study plan.
Smart goals.
Yeah, the smart goals.
Smart goals,
I heard a lot of smart explanations. Yeah, that was a big thing when I started out. But once you set your goals, it's more easy to split them up into different subjects you would need to reach those goals. So those subjects are my individual routes, and that's also what I'm doing right now. For instance, right now I'm working on my own music. I'm trying to produce my own EP. For that I have mostly weekly lessons.
And when will that be released?
I hope at the end of this year. Yeah.
Viewers.
Yeah.
What's that, guys?
I still have to think of how I want to release it. But I'm pretty sure I will try to gain some attention for that.
You also got two budgets, one for the individual route and for the project research and development. Could you tell more about the individual route?
Yeah.
What did you do with your budget?
Yeah, for the individual route you get a specific budget, and this budget you can spend on lessons or hours with teachers that you think are able to help you to reach your goals. It's a fixed budget, so you know how many hours you can spend. Basically, when you want to have a lesson from a teacher here at ArtEZ, I think it was always 60 euros, so you know how many hours you can buy from them. The big advantage for me, especially in the first year, was that you could also spend some of that budget on external teachers. So I was able to get in touch with one of my favorite composers for media, for commercial media, and I got in touch with him and I asked him, can I join you in the studio sessions where we can look into your way of working, your process, kitchen. your development. Basically, his kitchen. And he was very open for that. He invited me, and we had a half a day session in his studio, and it was really awesome to check out his projects and how he works. Really inspiring. What I always do is it's not only a session and then it's done, but I also want to get his feedback on my work. So I designed a kind of an opdracht,
assignment.
An assignment for myself.
Zijderzij in koor.
So that I could use the techniques that I learned that day in one of my own productions, and then let him judge it. Let's see how he would evaluate that. So that was very interesting for me, and it was it was such a plus point for me that you can look beyond the borders of only ArtEZ, which has a lot of great teachers, but for this specific thing I needed to go outside and see what was there. And it was really helpful.
And do you have some advice or tips for people that like to study here, if they want to come here and study?
What kind of people do you see here?
What kind of people? What
you work with? International people.
Do you need to develop something before you can study here? Because obviously you have to have a bachelor in in a study, which is not necessarily music, but the level of your music needs to be at a certain level. You can check that on the website. But is there some personal advice from you for people that think, well, I like
what the thing that was most helpful for me, and I didn't even notice it when I started out, but once I was here for half a year or something, then I understood why it helped me. Before I started this study, I worked for 5 years in music production and doing music for video and commercials and stuff like that. And I always had a clear vision of what I wanted to do, what I want to become, and that I want to develop myself. And I think it would be very helpful to, before you start this master course, that you have a clear idea of what you want to achieve with it, and how you can
clear
achieve
goals, clear.
Yeah, I think that would be very helpful.
Okay.
What did the master till now yield? What does it give you?
A lot of practical skills, I guess. A lot of skills in music production and composition and all things related to music. But it's more than just music production. For me, it's also developing myself as and more on the social sides of music production. What does it need to? What do you need to be in order to become a successful producer? And that's more than just music production skills. There's always a social side to it. You have to work with a lot of different people. Your communicational skills need to be on point, as mine are not, apparently.
They sure are.
But it's way more than just music. And I think the great thing about ArtEZ is that there's obviously a lot of knowledge about music, but all those other things you would need in order to become successful, I guess, in your field, those people are also there.
Also present.
Yeah.
I think time's up. I really like to thank you.
You're welcome.
Of Andrew and myself for coming.
Looking forward to the project, the end
Looking
project.
forward. Wish you good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
And see you.
See you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching.